Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, before we get to the meat and potatoes of the matter, a couple of points of housekeeping. Two things really. I have a very rare condition, a very rare 1950s publication of Mary Shelley's original Frankenstein. It's a small but hardbacked edition. It's beautiful, and the image on the cover, this is pre-Hammer and their Frankenstein saga. So the image on the front, which is actually embossed and printed into the fine texture of the book binding, it's not like a separate sleeve, it's in there, is of slightly Karloffian version of the monster running across through a rain bedraggled meadow somewhere. It's very abstract, and he's running sort of like that, all dressed in black, and he looks just like Shazar, the somnambulist killer from The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. So a cross between Karloff and Shazar, and it's wonderful. Now, I've done many videos on the channel over the years about Frankenstein for various masks and various movies and soundtracks and that, and I've always wanted to have that book in the background and to show you guys it. Well, ever since the first attempt to do a video with that book's gone missing. Now, we have in the vast labyrinthine warren that is the Kilt Mansion, we have not one but two libraries. I've scoured those libraries, throwing tomes to the wind, and I can't find it anywhere. I haven't sold it, I wouldn't have done that. We've moved a couple of times in the past. It was here in this house, I know it was in this house, and it has gone. And it really, really irks me. There's 1,000,001 different imprints and publications of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But this is gorgeous. I have got other versions, but they're more modernistic, and I wanted to show you this, and I can't do it. So there you go. And another thing is, and this is a nice segue into Frankenstein. I've swore blind to myself many times that I should not big up a video I'm going to be doing, because if I announce it in advance, it never happens, or it just gets staggered, delayed and postponed. And that's happened with this video throughout pretty much the last 7 days. I've been touting it, I'm going to do this, it'll be a big review, blah 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 blah, I'll do it tomorrow, and then something's happened and it doesn't happen. So something happens and it doesn't happen. The other thing happened perfectly well, but this just doesn't at all. Anyway, we're here now. But one of the points is, it's hubris again. Never aggrandize yourself, never big yourself up. Oh, I'm going to be doing the big review. And don't give yourself a deadline, because in my experience, you're going to come a cropper, you're going to fall, you're not going to make that deadline. And that's a nice segue into the hubris of Baron Victor Frankenstein. Of course, our main protagonist / antagonist of this classic oft-told tale. So, Guillermo Del Toro, this has been his baby. He's wanted to do this ever since he was a little tiny Guillermo Del Toro. He's wanted to do a film version of Frankenstein. And you can see quite clearly why. His career, he's been sympathetic to the monsters and the creatures in his movies all the time. His sympathies lie with them. As diseased, corrupt, and as foul as they may be, his heart is with them. They're misunderstood. And that, of course, is part of one of the many elements of Shelley's book. Shelley, who wrote this at the age of 19, and it was published, I think, January the 1st, 1818, or thereabouts. I mean, I was there, but I was busy at the time. I was out at baronial parties, partying around and having fun with the bourgeoisie. So give or take, I might not remember things too well about that time period. Whoa. And that's a perfect juncture to lubricate the mouth mandibles, the talking bits. Cheers, you all. So Del Toro wanted to get this done for a long, long time. Finally, via Netflix, and quite a hefty budget, I would have thought, he gets it out there. And of course, the film was quite clearly going to be much bigger than your average Netflix. So it got a theatrical run several weeks before it aired on Netflix. Now, my son saw it twice at the flicks. A lot of people I know went to see it at the flicks. I didn't, and I didn't for, well, as much as I wanted to see it at the flicks, films which go on for like over 2.5 hours, I really have a bit of a tough time with now. And this is from a die-hard film fanatic who, for me, the films I love could go on all day long and I'd love them. But at home, with my big screen, my sound system, when I can pause it and go for a Jeff Hurst or go make a drink or whatever, go for a run in your dreams. Those days are long gone. And, you know, take it at my leisure. But in the flicks, I feel imprisoned. A 90-minute movie is fine. Predator Badlands recently, that was perfect. It flew by, it whistled by. Perfect for me, that. You go beyond that and I get twitchy, get restless. Oh, you know. So even though this is a film I've been dying to see, I kind of couldn't do it. So everyone else and their dog had seen it, and their Frankenweenie dog. I had to wait till Netflix. And I have seen it a couple of times, and I fell in love with it. It's not the best telling of Frankenstein, but it's a bloody good one. It is faithful to Shelley's very highly literate, highly descriptive and florid text and storyline. And yet he still, Guillermo Del Toro, who wrote this as well, kind of made some tweaks and changed things. And well, we'll come on to all that because I think the film is fantastic. I love it. It's not so much a horror film as a gothic romance and a tragedy, which of course the book is. You've got to remember, Mary Shelley did not write a horror story. She wrote a gothic romance, a tragedy, a scientific speculation, a conjecture about what could happen, a cautionary tale. A lot of the horror stories of literature which we now revere, and they created the tropes of what the horror genre became. They weren't written as horror stories. That wasn't the modus operandi, that wasn't the purpose behind them. They were cautionary tales. And Frankenstein is right at the top of that. Don't play God. Don't mess around with dead people, you know. No good will come of it. It's about obsession, it's about revenge, it's about the corruption of the mind, the ego, the id, you know, the super id, super ego, and the damage that such obsessions which become delusions can create, and the damage it can do to those you love, you know, your nearest and dearest. The impact on society. Of course, what she's writing about is science at the time, breaking boundaries. When she wrote that, you know, you had fledgling medicines, apothecaries, you know, with tinctures and stuff like that. But you had surgery, you know, they could remove an arrow from a body, they could remove bullets from a body, they could amputate, you know, leprous limbs and save the person. So in effect, you were playing God. But science and medicine moves on and became, once drugs came in, vaccinations, you know, well, the rest is history, of course. So, but people around, oh yeah, oh, you can save, he's ill, but you can save him, brilliant. But then other things begin to happen. Oh, you can reshape someone's body. You're now getting inside someone's brain. What? People began to like be a bit suspicious. So of course, Mary Shelley takes that on board. Science has its dangers, and Frankenstein, albeit with, depending what version you watch, he's doing it for the right reasons, but he's often doing it for the wrong reasons. He loses his mother as a child, and it breaks him apart, and he wants to fight death, combat death. We can make death stop, or we can bring them back to life. And his absolute obsession to do this is born out of his own tragedy, his own heartbreak. So you get that, but it then becomes blinkered. Everything else is, you know, pushed to one side. I must make this happen. And then of course, once he makes it happen, it's a right royal fucking disaster. He's created life and now he doesn't know what to do with it. There's a great line in this movie which I have got here. I've got some notes, folks. I'm at the age where I have to make notes now. Where does he say it? Where does he say it? This is from this movie. This is not from Mary Shelley. This is from Del Toro's adaptation. I never considered what would come after creation, and having reached the edge of the earth, there was no horizon left. I think it's a great line. You know, my life's ambition, I've done it now, but what do I do with it? I've now created something that lives on. I can't just like show it off because it's got a life of its own. I don't know what to do. Mind blown. And it's about his reconciliation with the fact that he's birthed, well, we call it a monster, it's the creature, but it's basically a child. He's birthed his son, and then turned his back on it because he doesn't know what to do with it. And of course, then the creature's tale is brilliantly conceived in the book and in many different versions, including this one. His journey to find out who and what he is, why he's shunned, why he's afraid of everything around him, and why everything around him is afraid of him, and who made me, why am I here? And then he learns and learns that his father abandoned him, and all he wants is a friend, companionship, a reason to exist. Why am I here? The questions that we all ask as well, and the things that we all crave in our life. But even then, Frankenstein still won't entertain him, and the two are at loggerheads. Well, we'll go into it all because there's a lot to unpack with this, and I'm not going to do it in the same usual fashion of going scene by scene by scene. I'm going to dip in and out and talk about all of the bits and the bobs. And this is a film of bits and bobs because you actually see the creation, the building of the body, which you've seen in other films, but not to this degree. Guillermo Del Toro really has a lot of fun with this. Bodies from battlefields, and it's in Europe, of course, and there's always battles in Europe. There's always war. So, and a great big field of frozen dead bodies. A horse is frozen with the rider still frozen on top of it. A lovely row of windmills. A nice homage to James Whale and Boris Karloff, the original Universal Frankenstein movies. I'll talk about the homages in a separate chapter of this video. Remind me. But he finds all dead bodies and that, and the hanged, criminals, and and in a rather strange sequence, all these condemned are waiting to be hanged, and he's looking in their mouths. He goes, phew, and he smells one guy's breath, and he goes, and he says, "You're lucky they're hanging you. You'd have been dead within a year." I'd rather take my chances with the rest of the year, if you don't mind. I'd rather not be hanged, if that's okay with you, Sorry my breath offends thee. I'm about to die. And then you're going to cut me up and use my body bits to create some other big body. But you see him with all the bits, and he making incisions, sawing legs off, just in the shin bone, all like that, and then having to twist and turn the appendage to rip it off. You see him shoving a bone inside the leg, as if it was that simple, But it's kind of good. It's juicy. It's got the Grand Guignol charnel house element, which is hinted at in so many other movies. Hammer did a fair bit with this. Universal tried but couldn't get away with too much, on this side of things. But this goes to town, and there's all body parts all over the vast sort of the Watchtower laboratory, which he gets. Another homage to James Whale. Guillermo del Toro, like many of us, is a complete aficionado of the Universal horror cycle. So there's a lot of references to that, which you'd expect and you'd want. And so the creation scene, the body building scene, not the creation itself, is great. Got to remember that Mary Shelley did not write too much detail about the bodybuilding and the creation. The creation has got nothing at all. It's hinted at a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the occult, a little bit of esoterics, and the spark of life. And she doesn't tell you because she doesn't know, which gives all the filmmakers and other adapters of this tale carte blanche to do whatever they want. And of course, who is that word again? Homage. So James Whale had Kenneth Strickfaden to create oscillators and machines for his original classics, and big dials and gyroscopes and stuff like that, and lightning. The lightning hits the spark of life, the energy center of the body, sparks life into it. Electrodes in the neck and all that. Ask this guy, he knows all about them, in the neck. And that's how it works. And in this version, thankfully, because it's the most exciting way of bringing one of these creatures / monsters back to life, Del Toro does that as well in a very elaborate watchtower. It's like a castle, a big Gothic edifice on a mountains, on a big promontory, lovely coastline. I'll talk about the locations in a bit. And it's a pure Tim Burton style castle, and it's loaned to him by Harlander, played by Christoph Waltz. Victor is what's his name, Oscar Isaac, with long curly hair and billowy gothic shirts, and a real deep-seated arrogance. Okay, let's take things back a bit. We do start off correctly. We're out on the ice, the Arctic, and Victor is pursuing the monster, and he's injured, he's wounded, and he's dying basically. And there is a ship trapped in the ice, and their expedition to reach the North Pole has come to a sticky end. It's just stuck in the ice, can't get anywhere. But they hear moaning and shouting, and a big explosion takes place out on the ice. What the hell's that? And they go out and they find Victor. He's got a very, very bad leg indeed. He's only got one leg, one of the half legs. And they bring him on board, and then they hear something out there, and a monster in a very big shaggy furs and leathers and that comes shambling across, kills a few crewmen, and then they scare it off. They homage again. They shoot the ice, and he falls through the ice, which is a direct homage to Dracula Prince of Darkness for Hammer, where the ice breaks and Christopher Lee's count falls underneath the ice. But of course, Frankie's monster can't die. No. So he's under the ice, which gives Victor time to tell his part of the story to Captain Anderson. Now, this is a change from the book, because it's Captain Walton originally. There's some changes which Del Toro has done, which I just don't know why he's done them, because it's just to make your version a little bit more unique, perhaps, but it serves no purpose. So Captain Walton now becomes Captain Anderson with the same quest, but his crew, it's got a much bigger crew. There's tons of guys on this bloody boat, and they've got loads of muskets and rifles, and the creature's getting shot. This is the start. Creature's getting shot and doesn't seem to bother it at all. It's hailing crewmen around into the ice and all that, and he goes, "Fetch my blunderbuss." The blunderbuss, the great old Edwardian shotgun. So he gets that buckshot. Boom. Monster hits the ice, shoot the ice, monster goes under, and then we get Victor's tale. A tale of woe. A tale of creation, of discovery, of awakening, and then of pure bloody fear and massive, massive regret. And we learn about his upbringing. He's the son of Baron Leopold Frankenstein, played by Charles Dance, who's playing yet another bastard, hardline, authoritarian twat. When's the last time Charles Dance played a good guy? I'm being serious. Was it Alien 3? And even that, he is a mass murderer, albeit by accident. But he's a good guy in that. He's a sympathetic guy in that. But in anything else, has he actually ever been a good guy with a heart and a soul? No, I don't think so. And he certainly hasn't got it in this. He's a really strict authoritarian, brilliant surgeon. He's a physician, and they've got some house. I'll tell you what that house is, if I can find it. I wrote this down. It's in loads of things. Oh God. Wilton House in Surrey. It's in Barry Lyndon. It's in Emma. It's in Bridgerton. It has that great big massive work of art on the wall. That huge, one of the biggest paintings I've ever seen, which of course is why they use it. It's in all them films and TV shows and many, many more besides. And that's their baronial house, the Frankenstein house. And but he wants Victor, who's 9, 10, 11 years old when we first see him. And the young Victor's played by, I've got this down here somewhere, Felix Camera plays the young Victor. And the lad loves his mum, wants to do well, and but Charles Dance, he keeps his son at a distance. He educates him in the ways of surgery and what have you. But pay attention, Victor. And he just wants a bit of love as well, a bit of compassion. Can I just go and play for a bit? No, you can't. In a great scene, he's about to be chastised again by Charles Dance, and he puts his hands out to be caned, get the cane on the hands, and Charles Dance, as Leopold Frankenstein, goes, no, not the hands, Victor, because they are your trade. You're going to make your name, you're going to keep my name going with those hands. Surgery, you've got to keep them, preserve them. So let's do your face instead. Fucking canes him across the face. Bastard. But his mother, who's played by Mia Goth, who plays the love interest, sort of, in this Elizabeth, she plays two roles. Another homage, Bride of Frankenstein. Elsa Lanchester plays Mary Shelley, but also plays the Bride of Frankenstein. Two roles. Kenneth Branagh's take on Frankenstein, called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, has Robert De Niro in two roles. He plays the sharp-featured man who doesn't want the inoculation. You're not putting that in me. You're not putting that in me. And it stabs John Cleese. Professor Waldman. He stabs John Cleese. And then he becomes the monster. Da-da-da. So, again, Del Toro's going, I'm going to put these little references to keep all you movie buffs happy. Spotting them here, there, under there, and behind that bit there. References, homages are plenty. So Mia Goth plays his mother, and his mother's called Baroness Claire Frankenstein. And you might not recognise her because she's got big freaky eyebrows, she's got dark hair, and a French accent. And she only did it for like literally about 40 seconds before she snuffs it. Snuffs it giving birth and to William, so Victor's younger brother. And William is doted on by Charles Dance. And maybe you could see in the relationship sort of stakes, he doesn't see William as being his protege, his going to carry the name on. And he's now lost his wife, who he wasn't much of a, a compassionate lover to either. Doesn't seem to be anyway. All round bad egg, really. But where he's a twat to Victor, he dotes on William, and of course Victor sees this. And this could have been built up as a resentment, and it does kind of play out in a weird sort of way. But Victor likes William, and but Charles Dance gives a fantastic magical carriage to him in a sort of dreamboat moment out on the lawns of this baronial mansion. Open your eyes now. And, Father, is this for me? All for you. And behind the tree, you've got Victor going, yeah, bastard. But tragedy befalls the family again. What happens is they own plantations, but a fierce storm ruins half the plantations. So they start losing money, losing estates, losing this, that, and the other, losing money. But they keep the estate and their titles. And then Charles Dance's character, Prince, not Prince, delusions of grandeur there. Leopold Frankenstein snuffs it as well. And Victor then, I will now assume the role of the family surgeon, and I'll make my name, not my dad's name, but I want my mother back. Why was my mother taken away from me? And he's blamed his dad. She died at your hands. You could have saved her. I said, Victor, I did everything I possibly could, but there's no emotion there. So Victor's like, it's changed and charged his life now with one single desire. I will conquer death. If I can't bring my mother back, I'm going to make sure that no one else goes through the shit I've gone through. And that's the crux of the matter. So now we're older. I think William goes off to live with an aunt or something, and he's going to pursue a life of finance, which is a good idea, make some money out of it, But Victor pursues this, and next we see him, he's grown into Oscar Isaac, and he's getting done in a big university tribunal, a hearing. You don't really hear why he's in there, but it's quite clear his experiments, he's ignoring what they're trying to teach him, and he's going out and doing his own thing, and they're like, this is heresy, it's witchcraft, what you're doing. And of course, it's one of them big round sort of lecture halls, so all the students are sitting around there as well, so his peers are there. And you've got three wise monkeys with Ralph Ineson, who's in every gothic movie going. His career has took off. Robert Eggers has just took him under his wing. That's a big wing because Ralph Ineson's about 8 feet fucking tall, with a voice like marbles dragged through boulders. That deep growly voice. It's just brilliant. It's pure gothic. And but it's come a long way since Ricky Gervais and The Office. And he plays Professor Kremp. Oh, here we go, folks. Another reference. And he's like the lead sort of academic. And they're sitting like a tribunal trio of judges. But you don't hear what the actual charges are against Victor. But he's clearly rocked the establishment. Cheers, y'all. And he's got on a table a bizarre cadaver, just like it's disfigured, it's horrible, it's a bizarre looking thing. And of course he makes it move, brings it to life, but using electricity. He's trying to prove what you know, this is what my experience, this is what I've learned, this is what I want to show to you. I've brought this dead bundle of flesh and gangled limbs to life. And they go like, nah. That's just galvanization, which we know that, you know, you can pump electricity into a dead thing and it will move because the nerves can be operated. And of course, that's the basis of, you know, a lot of this sort of scientific theology. And so it does move. And he's going, yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. And he gets an apple and he nicks an apple off their desk and throws it, and this fucking thing, it goes and catches it. And it's a really freakish looking thing. It's beautiful. It's like a lot of this movie, the horror and the monstrousness, they're not ghastly to look at. They're quite eerily beautiful. Think Pinhead in Hellraiser. It's like, you know, a guy with nails bashed into his skull. That could be really gruesome, but the way that he's created and designed, he looks eerily, spectrally beautiful and entrancing in many ways. And that's what this film is like. The horrors are muted down by not having splashy gore, but being just ghastly. But I can't take my eyes off it. It's wonderful to behold. So, and this thing, he goes like, it just caught the apple, and then it's thrown up and down, and I think it sniffs the apple. I think it's going to take a bite out of it, or whatever it's going to do, like. And but they dismiss the whole bloody thing, like, and it's heresy. Only God can create life, and God can take it away. What you're doing is obscene, and he's lost the argument. Despite that, would have made news around the known world. But Christoph Waltz, yes, another gothic superstar these days in everything, and he comes in and he plays Harlander. Harlander is an entirely new creation. Hey, creation. Mary Shelley did not write this guy, and to my knowledge, his character's not been in any other version. Someone's going to go, no, you're wrong. I don't remember it from anything else. And what he is, he's basically, oh God, from Bride of Frankenstein, and I forgot the guy's name. The guy that tries to get Frankenstein to create, you know, another monster, you know, because he's created a little. I forgot his name. I cannot believe I forgot his name. It's one of those fabulous names which I've completely utterly forgotten. Played by Ernest Thesiger as well, like Dr. Pretorius, Dr. Septimus Pretorius. There you go. Fucking got there in the end. And he's a version of that, because he will then take Victor. Look, you need someone to fund you. Your family, I know you've got your title of Baron and all that, but your family's funds have fucking depleted. But I've got money, and I like what you've done here. And they have he takes him, you know, to his place. And this Pretorius stand-in, who also stands in for, I think, Henry Clerval, who is the best friend of Victor Frankenstein in the novel and in many other versions. He's there. Oh, I should say, Professor Kremp, played by Ralph Ineson, he's a reference to Hammer's Curse of Frankenstein, because Peter Cushing has an assistant called Kremp, played by Robert Urquhart. So that's where that reference comes in. I will resume all the references at some other point, because it's just a bit of fun anyway. But Harlander takes him under his wing and, like, look, and he's into photography, you know, this new thing of photography. And of course he's taking photos of, like, rather plump semi-nude ladies eating peaches, and for whatever reason, it's kind of a throwaway thing, but in a way the theme does come back of photography and capturing images of creations, you know, because a photograph is a creation. Back in those days, certainly. Now we just take pictures all the time, you know, it's nothing. It's TikTok stuff now. It's Facebook, you know. Here's me eating a big breakfast. Look at that. Oh, isn't that great? Here's me new shoes. You know, like, shite. But back in those days, it was an art form in itself. So he's like, look, you know, and this gets this semi-nude girl out, like, who bounces out with all their bobbly bits, and he said, look, you know, I like what you're doing, but what you did there, you saw what I did. I proved that my system works. You know, I didn't just galvanize the flesh, I gave it life. It's like, no, what you did was a pantomime show, that was circus. You were loving it too much. He said, I know you can do this, and I want you to do it, and I'm going to help you do it. I'm going to give you everything you need. And he has this sort of like, almost like a wooden operating table, and he spins it up like, and there's the imprint of a human being there. He said there was a cadaver on this, and it rotted down, and it left the trails of its lymphatic system. And of course Victor's like, that's what I'm working on. He said, well, I can't find the root of it, like. He said, and Christoph Waltz Hollander's going like, well, I think it's here. It's left every trace of its it's like a human body map sort of thing. He said, it's here, but I can't find the way into it. And he points it somewhere around here. He said, it's here somewhere. This is it's kind of a bit daft. It kind of paints Hollander as a bit of a dummy, because I've been trying to find, I can't piece the way to get to it. And straight away Victor goes, well, you're just going through the back, don't you? Well, dude, never thought of that. So the two of them now work together, and William comes back, and William is now, he has his betrothed. He's engaged to Elizabeth. Elizabeth is what is she to Hollander? Is she the niece? She's Elizabeth Hollander. She's related to Hollander. I don't think it's his daughter. I think it's his niece. I think it's his niece. I think so. Yeah, pretty certain it's his niece. So Victor and William are reunited. The older William now, and a great name in finance. You've made your name for yourself. And like Victor, I hear you've made a bit of a name for yourself as well, haven't you? It's not talked about in lofty lights like mine is. It's more whispered, shunned in corners, shadows. But the two of them are made up to see each other, proving again that Victor didn't really harbour anything resentment against William himself, but against his father's affection for William. So anyway, meet my wife to be, Elizabeth. Fucking Victor falls in love with her pretty much immediately. He's bewitched by her because she's so different from him. Now, okay, we'll talk a bit about this. In the book, Elizabeth is betrothed. She's the second cousin. I think it's second cousin, because I think that's allowed, to marry Victor. So in the book, and in many other versions, it's Victor and Elizabeth are together. They're an item, and William is killed by the monster who frames Justine, who's a housemaid, and I think she's part of the family as well, sort of, somehow. Can't quite remember now. My book's gone missing, remember. The monster frames Justine, so she gets hanged for a murder she did not commit of Victor's younger brother. Now in this, there's no Justine, and William is now an old, well, he's a man, you know, and he's business, you know, he's done well, and he's got Mia Goth on his arm. So life's looking really good. But straight away, although Victor's smitten with Elizabeth, she is antagonistic towards him. They have different viewpoints on life, the universe, and everything. And she loves the smaller things in life. Hey, you know, you'll have an enormous Schwanzduke. That goes without saying. But she likes insects, the smaller things. God creates even the smaller things. They have a life. You can see they're diametrically opposed, but about the same thing, a love of life, but he wants to create life so he can prove to the world, how hubris again, where she just admires creation, and he's smitten by her. And you have some sort of nice yet clunky and rather, why did he do it this way? Why did Del Toro do it this way? Because it just makes things more complicated unnecessarily. Elizabeth should already be with Victor, and that would be fine going forward. I don't see, it doesn't change a damn thing. But anyway, there's a nice scene where they're out in the streets, the cobble street. This is Edinburgh. A lot of it's filmed in Glasgow and Edinburgh. A lot of it's filmed in Ontario as well, or Ontario, in Canada, and rugged coastlines and stuff like that, rivers and forests and trees and meadows and all that kind of stuff, like, and snowy bits. And but he sees it in the crowd at one of these stores during a big fucking rainstorm. So it's definitely Glasgow or Edinburgh, and rain never stops. And he follows it into a church, and he realises she's going to make a confession. So he sees his chance, and when the priest comes out, because there was a queue forming, he's like, right, okay, I'll get in here, because she's going to come in next. He could have timed that really badly. Someone else could have come in there with really bad syphilitic, that's important, syphilitic confessions, and he'd be sitting there going, oh, now. And of course, they've got the screen. And he puts on an old voice, you know, my child, when was your last confession? Oh, forgive me, Father, I have sinned. My last confession was like 5 days ago, or whatever it was like. And well, and what is your problem now? And she goes like, I'm betrothed to be married, but I found affection. I found new feelings for somebody else. And he's like, and he's sitting there thinking like, oh, she fancies me. And it is quite clever, I suppose, quite funny. A rare moment of brevity, I suppose, in a film of dark despair. And he says like, oh, well, and who is this other man then? It's my fiance's brother. Oh, and you are attracted to this man? No, I hate him. And he goes, hate? He's like, hate? And then she pulls the thing back because she knew it was him all along. And I like that scene. And the two of them form a strange attachment. Other people may have interpreted it differently. He is smitten with her. I think she's not smitten with him. She hates his ideology. She hates his attitude most of the time. But she's drawn to him at the same time. And she becomes a bit of a flirt and a temptation for him, which I don't really know if it's a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing in the movie. I said before that he has no resentment towards William, but I think what Del Toro is trying to do here is he has got some repressed emotions of envy about his brother. The affection his father showed to him, but not to Victor, and now he's got this gorgeous babe, and he's like, well, I haven't got that, but we've got a connection. So, you know, maybe he's sort of surreptitiously, covertly, subconsciously, that's the word I'm looking for, he's getting his own back by pilfering his brother's missus. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? Pilfering your brother's missus. To all you brothers, missuses, pilferers out there, cheers you all. But it doesn't really go anywhere. Anyway, look. You get bogged down with all this stuff. Hollander and William now gets recruited by Victor. They've got this lovely watchtower thing. If you look, it's great. You, me, you, all of us who love our gothic horrors, we want to live in that place. I know I do. I virtually do as it is right now, but I haven't got a watchtower though. And I couldn't find a watch big enough to fit on the tower. So it's an edifice, but it's a big squat castle-y thing, big squat mansion baronial house with a fucking stupid big tower, right? Which looks really, well, that's out of proportion. That's rather silly. But anyway, money. William can harvest money. Hollander's got money, and so everything you need. And they walk around this ramshackle place, and it's a gothic delight. All lit with eerie greens and blues and like shadows, stained glass windows, and you've got this huge antechamber, which become his watchtower laboratory, and then a tower rises above it, and there's a great big hole, a great big smoothed over hole. It's actually strangely erotic. There's a great big face there as well, a big stone face which leans out as well, and this great big hole in the deck which leads down to a basement of archways and it's a subterranean sort of sewer system. Got drains and cobbles and all these beautiful stone archways down there. It's a gothic delight, and so this is perfect. Right, I've got to go away. What he's doing, he's wooing William's missus. He's wooing Elizabeth. Don't forget, Mia Goth played the mother as well. Now she's Elizabeth. Anyway, so you stay here and organise all the equipment coming in. You organise all that. So you're gonna get the Strickfaden, or a version, a bit of a stripped down version. You've got all like jars and things and fluids, and you've got this great big display readout of like red dots, red bulbs, boom, 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 as things ramp up the power, the charge. And I'll be honest, it's not, I would prefer a bit more direct referencing to kind of Strickfaden and all his incredible gizmos and gadgets, because it adds such literal pizzazz, to the whole thing. So anyway, you stay here and sort this out. I'll carry on with your missus. That's basically what you're trying to do, but it's not requited. It doesn't work out that way. She ends up being a perennial tease to him and a distraction. So then suddenly, right, I've got to get back to the job in hand, and dead bodies. We need dead bodies. Well, there's a fucking war taking place. Let's go out and find dead bodies. So he gets them from the battlefield. He gets them from the gallows. Bodies. And I said before about the creation scene, the bodybuilding scene, chopping them all up, putting bits together, fitting them all together, and he creates this big 6 or 7 foot tall pale blue monstrosity. And it's not a monstrosity at all, to be honest with you. And he erects it on in a cruciform position, and it's going to be hoisted vertically. And he's had this lightning rod, a lightning conductor, created out of chrome and titanium and fucking kryptonite or whatever. And it's Del Toro likes his gadgets as well, so they get this thing out and they go whoosh, like an umbrella, whoosh, and it goes whoosh, like that, and you hear this great big whoosh, cling, metallic resonance, and it forms like this sort of shape to catch the lightning. That's got to go on top of the tower. Right, big storm takes place. Right, so he's like fucking running around. Oh, gotta get this done. Hoist the body up, gets all this stuff primed. Oh, it's gonna be great. Right. Oh. Suddenly, Hollander, I need Hollander, and he finds Hollander, who is hiding behind his, big, full-length mirror, and he passes him the mercury. What? Mercury? It's on the table there, or whatever. So he passes him that, and like Hollander drinks the mercury, and he comes out behind the mirror, and he's been wearing a wig, obviously, and he's got a bald, scabby head, sores and stuff on it. And Victor's like, it is what I think it is, isn't it? It's syphilis! And he's like, yes, one night with Venus, a lifetime of agony in hell, And gotta remember, syphilis it still exists. It's a sexually transmitted disease, but it causes your body to rot, and you get brain fever, and you get all sorts of stuff. And back in those days, it was a death sentence, and a really bad one. And Christoph Waltz gives a great description of like, I know what's going to happen to me. I know the pain will become even intense. My legs will not work. My bits are going to start dropping off. Blah 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 blah. And then the screaming starts, and it doesn't stop. I know. He's got a plan, you see. He is like Dr. Pretorius. He's got his own agenda. I'm going to use Frankenstein to do what I want him to do, because I want to be that. I want you to put me into that body and bring me back to life. That's basically what he's saying. I want you to do that. And it's like, no, because several reasons. It's not what his plan was, and Victor is single-minded. No, and syphilis, your brain's going to be rotten. I don't want your fucking brain. and he's drinking mercury and all that, and the two will have a big scrap as the storm really starts raging, and I've got to get that thing up there. And they have a battle on the edge of this big huge hole in the floor leading down to the sewers and all that, right? And give me that fucking thing, and it cascades out of his hand and goes whoosh, hits the deck down below. I said, I need that, and the tussle continues, and Christoph Waltz Hollander falls down the thing, and Victor's holding his hand, trying to pull him back up again. Now, someone out there can correct me on this. I think I could be wrong. I may have got this slightly wrong, because Victor's refused to use Hollander's body, his brain, in his creation. So you condemn me to a life of absolute screaming hell and agony. Well, fuck you then. I don't want to live. I think Hollander lets go. Now, it may be obvious to some people. I can't quite remember right now. I think he lets go. Victor doesn't drop him, but anyway, he cascades down below and fucking falls and smashes the back of his head out. Another homage, folks. In Curse of Frankenstein with Peter Cushing, Robert Urquhart, and Hazel Court. Hazel Court. And Christopher Lee. Can't forget Christopher Lee. He's here. There he is. And Professor Bernstein, who Peter Cushing's Frankenstein wants the brain. He orchestrates an accidental murder and pushes him off the balcony, and he fucking twats his head and destroys the fucking brain. Like, so I think this is a reference. Christoph Waltz hits the deck, brain gets fucking sprayed everywhere, and that's it. Oh, but Victor wasn't going to use him anyway, so he's gone. So storm's raging. Well, can't waste another moment. I've got he has to go down there to go and pick up the lightning rod, which is still working. And then in his big billowy gothic shirt and his waistcoat. And there's the other thing that went missing as well. I've got lots of waistcoats, and I wanted to wear one for this. And you're way ahead of me. Couldn't find them. You would think they live in the wardrobe. We've got several wardrobes. They live in the wardrobe. All my suits and all my Highland regalia and my waistcoats live in the wardrobe. And no, they're not there. Something conspires against me. Anyway. So he gets his lightning rod and he climbs out the fucking window and he gets on the parapet, and then he climbs the great big tower in a raging storm. And he's got rope round his neck and all that. Like, he climbs up there too. Fuck that! God, in my day's training, we were up and down mountains and all that in really, really bad weather. But we had to do it. You had to train to do it. You're climbing up and you were abseiling down in really, really bad fucking weather. We did it on buildings too. That was no better. But by choice, you wouldn't do it. But again, it shows how driven he is and how dynamic. Up he goes, whoosh, whoosh, then opens up, goes back down again, and then lightning hits it, and you see the Red Bulls, bum bum bum, bum bum bum, bum 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 bum, full power, and but nothing happens. Seemingly nothing happens, and of course Victor's like, oh, and it's how it's written in the book as well. Like, it doesn't really work, and Victor goes to bed, and he does in this, and he has dreams of this stone angel, which was in his father's baronial house. And it comes to life in a sea of flame, so angel of fire, and then you get this dream where it's more nasty, and it's like the angel of death basically. And but when he wakes up with a jolt, his creation standing there, bald, blue, lots of marks where the body was stitched together, and it's Jacob Elordi, and he's wearing a nappy which is a reference to, come on, keep up, the world's worst Frankenstein movie, Horror of Frankenstein, with Ralph Bates and Dave Prowse, who played the monster a couple of times. Dave Prowse wearing a fucking nappy and looking not dissimilar from this, because he's not monstrous, he's just a big guy, or he's got a big elevated head, the enhanced cranium, but Elordi just looks picturesque, very blue, and in a weird thing, and again I'm not sure if I'm seeing this right, there's a splash of colour across the bridge of his nose. Looks like flame, or maybe the eye of Osiris, something like that. It's across there, and so it gives a bit of dynamism to it. And Victor's like, fucking where? Hello, hello, my son. Victor, you know, like, and he opens the curtains, and the monster's like, from the light of the sun, like that. He goes, no, that's sun. The sun gives life. As do I. I am the sun. I've given life. You know, I am God. You know, he doesn't do any of that, but that's what he's thinking. He's elated. But there's also like trepidation. Shit. He's big. The reason why they made a bigger body, and they say it in this, it'll make it easier to put all the bits in. You know, if it was a small body, it'd be microsurgery. But with this, you know, and you see him with the hand at one point. I think it's in his teeth. Is he pulling the sinew with his teeth? Can't remember. And the fingers are going. They're going. Whoa, hey. And he's working with it, so he's learning about microsurgery. But he says we're going to use a bigger body. Hollander goes, yeah, that'll make things easier. And so now he's now got his son. What are you going to do with him, Victor? What's your plan now, mate? Oh shit. Right. So doors, stairs, leads him down to the basement, doesn't he? And straight away he manacles him, chains him up on a big slab, because I think they've put in like operating tables for they've got loads of bodies in from the battlefields, and he's looking for the best bits, obviously the best cuts of beef, and so they've got all these slabs there. He puts him on that, and of course the monster is just the creature. You can't call it a monster; it's the creature. It's just everything is fascinating. He's awakening. He's got no memories. Everything is new to him, but he's not a baby. He can move around, and so it's you can see straight away, Victor, you are just a grade A bastard, you know. And although he's being dead nice to the creature, being dead nice, and he said, oh, is it chain? Put it around your wrist there. Oh, that's good, isn't it? And the monster's going, oh. Yeah, it's another one. So he's like, I'm going to leave you now. You're happy around here. And he puts a shroud around him. That'll keep you warm. And off he goes. I'll come back and see you soon. And the monster's like, shh, yeah. You're getting it now, aren't you? And of course, this will develop. And time goes by. We keep cutting back to him telling the captain, Captain Anderson, you know, he's still lying there in the ship's cabin, dying in the frozen wastes. But he still won't shut up. He's still fucking telling this story. And the monster begins to grow hair, and you see it's a shaving sequence where he's shaving the hair with a cutthroat razor, and there's a mirror there, and the monster keeps looking around, you know, at the mirror. Oh yeah, and that big face in the background, and he sees the face, and he's making connection. That's a face, but this is my face. Is my face any good? I don't know. And he's partly shaved and all that, like, and Victor's going, no, look this way, and he's like, no, just look this way, will you, and all that, like. And the creature takes the cutthroat razor off him, and stands up, you know, like, and he's fucking big and all that, like, and Victor's like, oh fuck. Why did I make them big? Why? And it goes and puts it in its hand, and it clenches on the blade, and Victor's going, no, don't do that. And it, look, actually it made me chuckle. He goes like, you see what you did now? He goes, you did that, not me. You did that, not me. You cut yourself, wasn't me. And then he watches, like, look, he's going to bandage the hand, and the cut begins to heal up. And he's like, Victor's like, it's healing up. Jesus, what have I done here? You can regenerate cells, and well, he doesn't say that, but you can regenerate. Good lordy lord. So he's like Wolverine, you know. So now, and this is an addition to the story. So you can hear crunching. The cat is now chowing down. A little lunch break, and so he can regenerate cells like Wolverine can. And nice touch. It's not massively necessary, because we know that he can. Well, does Shelley write that? I don't think she does. But the creature in the novel gets shots and hits and things happen to him. Impervious to cold. He is just resilient and strong. And but this deliberately shows you nowhere can regenerate. So of course Victor just doesn't like him at all now. And who comes calling? Mia Goth and William, his brother. So Elizabeth and William come calling. Where's my uncle? And they've had another. Him and the creature have had another set to down in the basement. He's hitting him. He's horrible. He's genuinely horrible to the creature. No, just do as you're told. Do as you're told. Look, why are you afraid? Why are you afraid of me? I'm not going to hurt you. Fuck her. I'm not going to hurt you. Jesus Christ. He's becoming his dad. I won't whip your hands. I'll cane your hands. I'll cane your face instead. But Victor has got no such will. He's just fucking anywhere. Fucking bastard. Fucking do as you're told. Perform for me. And it is. It's nasty. And you hate Oscar Isaac. You hate his Victor, put it that way. But these two turn up. So he's trying to look, your uncle, I haven't seen him for days. He's coming back in about 3 weeks' time, something like that. Some bullshittery. But William, you must see what I've done. Before I show you, come and see my notes. So he takes William upstairs, to show him his notes. Who hasn't moved that upstairs under that pretext before? But Mia Goth, Elizabeth hears, because they come down the big Gothic stairs to the main entrance. But there's a handy little passageway which leads down into the basement, and she hears the creature. So off she goes, and she meets the creature for a delightful sequence of not horror, no shock, just this kind of music playing. I've reviewed the score by Alexandre Desplat and got very emotional while I was doing it. I'll try not to do it this time, but the score is just magnificent. So the two of them meet, and she forms a kind of bond. She's not attracted to him, but she's just, who did these? You can see all the cuts on him, when he's been stitched together and all that, and all those bits have been added. And so she storms upstairs. Who is that man downstairs? What have you done to him? He said, no, I don't know. I gave him life. I didn't hurt him. I gave him life. Look at my notes. William, tell her. So they see him, and she's got a bond with the creature now, and she turns her resentment massively on Victor. And William's none too pleased. William says, look, I think, if I remember rightly, I've got a letter from the university. They want you back, or whatever. They retracted everything they said about you. They want you back. Look, you've got your life back. He's like, my life? I've gone way beyond all that now. I don't need that shit, Anyway, Victor does show William the body of Harlander, and the back of his head's fucking gone. His brains just went ta-ra when he hit the deck. Went off. Big empty head, and he lies. He says, the creature killed him in a fit of rage. Yeah, right, okay, yeah. Anyway, Victor's now really pissed off with the creature. Mia Goth wants to go, I want to find my uncle, I want to find this, blah, 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 I want to have the truth. Off. They storm off in the carriage across a very Netflix painted, very garishly colourful countryside. So Victor's like, oh, fuck all this, it's all gone horribly wrong. It's not what I wanted. Of course, also realising I didn't really know what I wanted. So he gets about 1 million tubs of kerosene and volatile flammable liquids, puts them all around. I don't know where he got all this stuff from, and lights it all up. But the monster's chained downstairs again, and it just fucking blows the whole place to bits. And because that the hole in the laboratory in the floor is the ceiling to the basement, the creature's looking up, and you can see all flames there. And of course, fire. No, fire is good. Here, have a cigar. No, let's not go into that. Fire's coming down, wreckage is coming down, and the creature's getting all fucking, oh my god. And it's going, Victor, Victor, that's the other thing. The only word he can say is Victor, and Victor gets pissed off with this. Just say hand, say foot, say Rumpelstiltskin, say something. Anything other than Victor, say something. Victor, oh, you still can't do it. This is this endless frustration with the creature. But of course, after he's... Oh, I missed the point out, he says, pointing. This whole Victor thing, as he walks out, say something else, and he says, oh, fuck it, and he storms off, like, and he goes, Elizabeth. And Victor hears that, which is that's the catalyst, that ticks him off. Should have said that a bit earlier, I know, I apologise. But we catch up eventually. And he's like, oh, you can say other words, but you said the one thing that I want. Right, fire it is! Boom! Fucking play. But he has a pang of conscience when he leaves, and they're travelling across in the air. They've already left, William and Elizabeth. But, you know, they can see this fucking big watchtower in the background and all that, like. And he comes up, and this is Victor, and he hears, Victor! And he gets like, oh, shit. So you get, the whole place is ablaze, and he runs back to the main door. And, well, you think he's going to go and help the monster, but we don't get a full version of that because the whole fucking place blows up and Victor gets sent 80 feet through the air, hits a fucking stone statue, and his leg comes off. Jesus fucking leg. You know, that come out of nowhere, that. And the whole fucking place blows up. And of course they come racing back, and they rescue him, and like they all assume the creature's dead. So, cut back to the ship and all that, and the monster has made a return visit. He's come out the ice, his hands come up, and he comes out the ice, goes back, and you hear all screaming outside, and the monster's on the boat, on the ship, and Anderson goes, no, leave him, because now he's heard, you know, well, I know who this thing is now, because Victor's gone like, I've been pursuing this bastard, you know, and the monster comes in, he goes, so, you've heard Victor's tale, well now you can hear mine. So he then tells what happened to him after the big explosion. And it's, you know, this is where Frankenstein always works. Because again, like Del Toro, your heart, your sympathy is with the creature, the monster. So he says how he escapes. He's got raw strength. So he's snapped his way out the chains. And earlier on, we've seen him with the floating leaf. I'm going to do it again. You guys knew I'd do this. The most beautiful piece of music in this score, which is all gorgeous. Early on, he's watched a leaf float down, you know, the drain, and goes off through another hole and disappears. And he's watched it go, puts another leaf down there. And he has, when he meets Elizabeth, he gives her a leaf because they're a thing of beauty to him, a thing of mystery. So he knows there's a way out down there. The leaves don't come back, they've gone. So he breaks it, fires everywhere, he breaks the chains, and big explosion, and he goes down. He has a bit of a log flume himself, goes down the chute, and he gets washed up way outside. Now, a lot of people have said that, you know, he looks like the engineer from Prometheus. And the word Prometheus is used in this movie because Mary Shelley wrote the original novel Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus. That's fire and life and all that, like creation. And of course, Ridley Scott made the film Prometheus. So, and because he looks like an engineer. He looks like Nicholas Hoult met an engineer and had a little child. He looks like the offspring, the bastard offspring of an engineer and a Nicholas Hoult. And when he's washed up on this craggy sort of barren, lots of barrens in this movie, wasteland with streams and brooks and lichen and all that. It looks like the opening of Prometheus. So anyway, and he goes for a bit of a wander in his nappy, and he meets a deer, and they're eating berries, and he's feeding, you know, the berries to it, and the deer doesn't mind him at all, and it's a lovely scene. It's again a waiting for him. He's finding other things which aren't running away from him or scared of him, and he's trying to, you know, touch the deer, and the deer doesn't mind. And a bullet goes through the fucking deer's face. He's like, what? And then there's two hunters on a ridge behind him, and they go, oh my god, what the hell is that? Pointing to him. And they put fucking bullets, musket balls into him, and he manages to run off and all that. What the hell was that like, you know? Was it beast or man? And the poor bastard. And he finds the coat. The coat gets off a dead body, a soldier's dead body, and it's the classic coat, the big, massive Gothic jacket, the overcoat, which in Boris Karloff, it's not that style of jacket. But in Curse of Frankenstein, it's a big frock coat, which I have behind me. You've seen me wearing it. I've got a big Edwardian frock coat. It's gorgeous. But he gets this big sort of leather, massive Art Deco designer, you know, bourgeoisie Gothic jacket. Now, in Kenneth Branagh's version, the monster takes a very similar, Robert De Niro's version takes a very similar jacket and wears it. But it's actually Frankenstein's jacket. When the awakening scene where, oh my God, and Kenneth Branagh's like, shit, you know, and he shuns the monster, and the monster does a runner. It takes his jacket and wears that, and of course it becomes increasingly dishevelled, big Gothic collars on it, and you know, it's a great jacket. I love that jacket. And this is very similar, but it's got a big cowl, a big hood on it as well. So he gets this, and he goes through the woods, and he finds, the blind man sequence, the big set piece here. The family who live in the woods. Of course, the blind man, played by David Bradley, who's in many, many movies, and Harry Potter as well. Like, he's the blind man, and he's the wise blind man. His family's around him and all that. And the fucking hunters that shot him, they live there too. You know, it's an extended family there. The monster holds up from the storm in their barn, and over the course of months, he learns to speak. He learns, you know, semantics. He learns it all by watching them and listening to them. And because, you know, they don't know he's there, but he forms an attachment to them. Very touching, very beautiful. Wolves attack the place. Here's something, well, we'll deal with this right now. The CG wolves and animals, yeah, they're not good. In a film of such incredible production value and really fantastic sets, opulence, Gothic grandeur, splendid visuals, the creature designs, the half bodies, the whatevers, the this, the that, you know, all look great. The fucking CG looks really, really naff. Very sort of early doors. There's no weight, no physicality to them. They look rubbery and cartoonic, and yeah, don't get me wrong, it doesn't take you out of the film. It's not enough to do that, but it isn't. I'm surprised at how raw looking it is. But anyway, wolves attack and they kill a few of the sheep. And the monster notices all this, witnesses it all, and of course they shoot a couple of wolves and they chase them off and all that. But the monster comes to, he's telling the story, of course. He says, like, I realised that, you know, the wolves weren't killing just to kill. They had to, they were doing it out to eat. And he's realising, you know, the purpose of, well, the things that have to happen to keep you alive. Got to eat, you know, and so he doesn't hate the wolves. That's going to come back and literally bites him on the arse. Cheers, y'all. So the men, the two hunters, the sons and their wives, they say, look, we're going to chase the wolves into the mountains. We're going to kill all the wolves. And they get the family. Well, we'll go and stay with so and so. Well, we go and hunt the wolves. You come. It's not safe around here. But the blind old man won't go. He said, no, I've lived here. I make my prayers here. I'm not afraid. You know, oh, you stubborn old goat. But he stays, and of course the monster makes his presence felt. I should have said earlier, they need firewood for the hearth, and he's arranged tons and tons of bracken effigies in their snowy front lawn, and like, who's done this for us? And like, the old man goes, it's the spirit of the forest. So and this is in the book as well, he becomes the spirit of the forest, looking after them, and they leave little things for him, you know. Oh, leave a trinket for the spirit of the forest. So his attachment's grown to them. Then of course the wolves, and they leave, but they leave the blind man behind. So he does go in, and he does meet the blind man, and of course the blind man can't see, you know, and like, come in, my friend, you know, and he feels the hand and all that. Like, well, what are you afraid of? Everything, you know. But at the moment, you know, he's learned to talk, and they form a bond. And he teaches the blind man who's been teaching his granddaughter to read. He now teaches the monster to read. A blind man teaching someone to read, you know. But it's clever. He's giving him books to read. If you go to the end on the left, you'll get Paradise Lost, Milton's Paradise Lost, which again is in the book and all that. Like, and you'll learn about everything there. Like that's the biggie for you, mate. But the monster, over months, they form a huge, great bond. They look after each other. They help each other, and their relationship just really becomes very beautiful. And you see the monster sitting up on the rafters one time, and he's reading the poem by Percy Shelley, Ozymandias, an Egyptian god that has, or Egyptian man, emperor, king that believes he has immortal power and all that. He is a god, and again, hubris takes him down. Ozymandias. He's reading that. Now there's a little homage, but an in-joke, because Ozymandias, as I said, is written by Percy Shelley, who was married to who? Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. So it's breaking the fourth wall, if you know what I mean, because that's a poem written by the man that was living married to the girl that wrote this story itself. So you're breaking the meta, you know, belaboring the point there. So it's a nice touch, but it also fits in, you know, with the whole idea of, you know, delusions of grandeur and obsession and hubris. I've said that word a lot, but hubris is really what Frankenstein is all about. And so you read that, and he's beginning to learn, and the blind man says, "Well, where did you come from?" I don't know. And there's a great line. I've got it somewhere here. He said, "What are your earliest memories?" And he says something like, I think he says like it's like a dream, different men. Doesn't mean he dreamt of different men, but a dream. Like he's come from different men. All the body, everything about me is different, you know, from a different person. I remember fire and water, sand beneath my feet, because when he makes his escape, he falls off the cliff and into the sea, and then gets swept up. So sand at the seabed. And I remembered a word. You know what that word's going to be, don't you? Victor. He was like, well, do you know where you came from? And of course the monster does remember, I can find my way back there. Well, maybe the answers you want lie there. Okay, so off he goes. And these scenes with the blind man have been great. David Bradley's wonderful. Jacob Elordi is just tremendous. So much pain, ethos, and mystique, awakening, new understandings, remorse, regret, fear, all these things are conveyed in his eyes. So off he goes anyway, and it's all snowy, and this folly, you know, the watchtower, it's all been blown to buggery, but he finds the photographs that Hollander took, and it's like the faces and the bodies which he's come from, and then he finds Victor's journal. Oh, just gives it all away. Victor. And like, it's just, it's horrible. But he knows who he is now. He knows what he is. But okay, I know what I am, but why am I? What am I going to do next? And of course he goes, and it's a heartbreaking scene. And he goes back to the old man's rather lovely farmstead, and as he's going, he can hear the wolves again. Oh, bastards! So he legs it in there, and the fucking wolves are ragging the blind old guy around the place. Where are they? They're fucking biting him and all this. CG wolves, of course. Like, so he's like, and I'm not sure why he can do this, but I like the fact he can. Frankenstein's monster has always had a bellow, a growl, but a roar of rage and defiance. And this version has it, but it's like something out of Jurassic Park. He goes, "Rah!" I mean, his mouth doesn't stretch to humongous CG levels, but it's just like, "Rah!" and he attacks the wolves. Now, my son did not like this scene at all. He thought it was unnecessary and gratuitous. and he snaps the spines of a couple of wolves. He literally pulls the fur and skins one and hurls its body, and he's doing some nasty things to these guys who are just, who he knows they're just trying to live, but that's his mate. So his friend, I should say, friend becomes a huge element. Mate will come into it as well, and kills the wolves, and then but the old bugger is still alive, and he's like, my friend, you are my friend, and they clasp hands and all that, and he dies. And of course, who comes back right at that moment? The bloody hunters. Oh, there's that fucking thing again. What have you done to my dad? What have you done to whatever, And he's like, rah, again. And they start shooting him. And of course, in the most overt homage to any Frankenstein movie, Curse of Frankenstein again, Christopher Lee playing the monster, he gets shot in the eye. In this, he gets shot just above the head. But in both versions, Frankenstein's monster will go, and blood will spurt out between the fingers. A shocking scene in 1958 when Curse of Frankenstein came out. And it's shocking right here as well. It's very clearly a reference to that. And then I think they shoot him again and all that. And then there's an older guy there who comes running up and plants a sickle in his chest. It's like, fuck. Grabs his chin and rips his chin off. Rips his lower jaw right off. It's not quite as nasty as that may sound. I knew about that scene coming up before I saw it, and I was looking forward to it. I'm weird that way. And but I thought, is that it? Oh, bollocks. But anyway, and then he shoots him again, and he pushes past him, and he runs out, and they run after him, and they shoot him again, and he drops in the snow. And another great line, he says, like, he's lying there in the snow, and time passes. He's telling the story. Silence again, and then merciless, like, hang on, yeah, then merciless life. He's come back to life again. His wounds have healed. Oh, back to this miserable, lonely existence. My one friend, I couldn't save him, and his family turned on me. Victor, you fucking twat. Again, it doesn't say that, but he's definitely thinking it. So then he forms a quest. He knows where to find Victor as well, like. And Victor it's now got like a false leg, which he straps on, and we meet them again at the wedding do of William and Elizabeth. And William and Victor seem okay. Victor's kind of like forgotten about it, or he's hoping nothing's going to come back to him again, like. And but there's still unfinished business with Elizabeth, so he makes a hash of that again. And like she fucking slaps him in the face and all that, like, and he's fuming. Meant to be the happiest day of their lives, and he's gonna fucking ruin that for him as well. And then he storms back down to his room in this. I'm not sure which mansion house this one is. It might be the original one, but from his upbringing, might be. I'm not too sure. And it's all guests everywhere, the big ballroom, there's hundreds of people there, all in stately gowns and all that, like chandeliers and twinkly and all that kind of stuff. There's all waltzy music playing, and but he comes back to his room and the windows are open, the curtains are billowing, and he knows, like, go on, show yourself, you're here, aren't you? And the creature comes out of the shadows. It's like, you are a fucking twat, basically. Look what you did to me. You left me, you abandoned me. Yes, I can talk now, and I can read. I know what you did. I know what you are. I know what you're gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna do nothing for you and all that. And anyway, and he's got his false leg and all that, like. And he said, look, what is it now? Death, the remedy to all pain. Another gift you've denied me. I'm alive, I cannot die, but I cannot live alone. So you are going to make me a mate. Make me a mate. This is where this version does not meet Mary Shelley's or a lot of other versions, because he insists, make me a mate, and I'll go off, and me and mate will live together away from mankind. We won't bother anyone. Do that, and of course, Frankenstein in the book and other versions, he's going like, Okay, that'll work. Now in the book, it's Justine who got framed by the monster for the death of William. See how it's all changed here? She's freshly dead. I want her body. I want her to be my mate. You can put life into her and she can be mine. And Frankenstein does it. In other versions, it's maybe different people, but he does bring a mate back to life. And he begins to make the mate for him. And in the book, he realizes, no, I can't do this all over again. I've created a monster. I can't create another one, because what are they going to do? And he says this in the movie, in this version. He says, like, you are going to have a mate. Two monsters, yes, we'll be monsters together. But then you could create other monsters. And then a race of monsters. I can't unleash that on the world. I can't do this. So, and in the book, he does have the body there. But at the last minute before they, and we can bring it back to life, he fucking rips it apart, destroys it. And of course, the monster's like, you bastard. Fueling their final chase against each other across the barren waste of the world. In this, you don't get that at all. Because what he does, he goes like, I want a mate. And like, Oscar Isaac's version just goes like, what, two monsters together? Yeah, we can live away from mankind. We'd be companions. We wouldn't be alone. And you created me, you owe me, and all this kind of shit. Like, but he thinks about it, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then he starts throwing Frankenstein around, and his body, his body's flying 100 miles through the air, crashing into Welsh dresses and bureaus and bedsteads and all that, smashing everything. Everyone can hear this. And of course, Elizabeth runs in there, and like she's like, because it's the creature again. Who's now got long hair, long flowing hair and all that, and of course he's got the big coat on and all that. And she goes, the leaf, I kept the leaf you gave me. And it's a lovely touching moment. But Victor's like, gets a pistol. Elizabeth, step away from him, but she gets in the way, and he shoots her. I'll be honest, folks, that's not the way it should play out. I don't like the way that this is. Guillermo Del Toro has done this version. I think he added in a whole unnecessary love affair between Victor and his brother's fiancée, when it should have been him and her anyway. So he's changed the dynamic and the momentum and the details of the story to reach the same point. So all of this doesn't really make any difference. He's just changed it for the sake of changing it. You may feel differently, you may have more impact upon you, but I don't think it. I think it's unnecessary. You're still going to get to the same conclusion. But, the journey is what's the important thing. Of course, it's always about the journey. Cheers, y'all, and enjoy your journey. So she's been shot, but she's not dead. Of course, William comes in there with other people. The monster goes, oh, fucking hell, It starts hailing other people around for going through fucking windows, and he hails William against another hard surface, whether it's a wall or another fucking big oak wood dresser. Bang! And it's like, and all blood shoots out of his gob and all that, like, and his head's done in. And the monster then runs, picks up Elizabeth, who's still alive, and walks through everybody else. And they're all like, And in a way, it's quite anticlimactic to this scene that he just walks out of the place. It's poetic in a way and visually splendid, but it's not really. I think everyone would be piling on, like, fucking there, you bastard. And I'd like a bit more bloodshed. That's just me personally. But it's not the point of it, though, is it? And of course, Victor then finds William's still alive, but barely. His head's all smashed in. This is another homage, by the way, folks. Another homage. And it's like, William, I'm so sorry and all this. No, you're not. All my life I've known you're the real monster. There's a bit more dialogue before he snuffs it, but basically saying, I've always feared you, Victor. Not him, not father. You. You're the real monster. Well, no shit, Sherlock. We've all known this. This is the whole fucking point of it, but then he dies. The homage, you say? Frankenstein, the true story from 1972, 73, 74, one of those years. With Michael Sarrazin playing the monster. When he meets the blind man and the family come back in and disturb it all, he pushes one of the adult sons of the blind man against the wall, and his head goes fuck off against the wall, and he slides down it, leaving a huge welter of blood behind it. When I was a kid, that stuck in my mind a hell of a lot. This is very definitely a reference to that. So there. And of course, the monster takes Elizabeth to a cave not too far away, more snow, and puts her on this lovely slab of rock, which is actually it kind of looks like one of the gurneys, the operating tables that many Frankensteinian monster has been lying strapped to, you know. And she puts her on that, and she has her final moments there, and they speak. But Victor has got another fucking vintage, well, a Del Toro style version of a vintage shotgun, and he's gone after him, ammunition stuff down his pouches, his little false leg back on again. He's followed the trail of blood, you know, to the cave, and she's died. And show yourself, and the monster comes out again, like fucking takes the rifle off him, throws him against the wall, and it's like, you know, I'm ugly, I'm a monster, you know, I'm gonna make you monstrous too. And he now Oscar Isaac has got a rather large hooter. We're not talking Adrian Brody style here, and we're not talking Pinocchio, which Del Toro also did before this, and grabs his nose, and I really thought he's gonna break his nose off. That'd be great if Victor was deformed and he had like no nose. That'd be wonderful, but of course then I realised, well, he clearly doesn't do that, because we've seen him on the boat and he has the ship, and he's still got a snozzer. Just goes and breaks it. Oh, blood goes everywhere. That's a nice gratuitous little scene. I don't mind that at all, but I kind of wish he'd ripped it off and made him horrific as well. He's only his legs gone, but he got a little false leg and all that. And then, but he leaves him. He's like, no, you have been my creator, but I'm going to be your master. You know, I'll dictate the rest of your life now. And the monster does a runner, knowing he's going to come after him. He becomes obsessed with this. And to be perfectly honest, this is rushed. In every version which tells this story, this element of Victor's pursuit of the monster across the wilderness, and then ending up on, you know, the book-ending story of the ship, it's always rushed. Always has been. Although I think if you were going, here's me with the benefits of being on the outside and looking in from a non-filmmaking perspective, not a budget to worry about. I would like to choose to tell stories about that, the pursuit across the you know, well, the Baltic and the Ozarks and Canada and the wastelands, all across Europe and everywhere, and the monster leaving like a breadcrumb trail for Victor of bodies, of deceits, of, you know, setting Victor up for when he arrives in town. Well, it's all your fault. They'll fucking do him in, like, the monster sitting, you know, on a hill watching. Got you again. I'd love that. It's epic, of course, and it would take up a huge portion of the film. But so you don't get it. You do get a little bit extra. They're in the frozen wastes, and Victor hobbles up to a trading post, and he's got dogs, he's got huskies, and I need ammunition and I need dynamite. How many sticks? I think he says 10 sticks of dynamite, maybe 12. He's like, what are you hunting? You know, something big. So he does this, and he pitches a tent on the frozen wastes, and he hears the monster wailing in the distance, and he sees it, like, he's got his rifle, and he's like, waiting if you come in, and the monster fucking comes up, drags him at the back of the tent, and drags it just with his bad leg, and like just drags him further up onto the ice floes and all that, like, and roars at him defiance. And Victor's got dynamite, and he goes like, oh, you reckon this is going to work then, do you? Well, let's hope so. Light it now, and then run. And the monster holds the dynamite close to himself like that, and Victor's like fucking hobbling off. Oh, fucking hell. But it's Stallone there. Yo, catch me! And fucking he climbs up a snowy ridge, and then fucking boom, and dynamite was in use back then. It definitely was in use. Although, to be perfectly honest, a stick of dynamite held close like that, I was wondering how they're gonna do this. Is he gonna be blown apart, and his bits are gonna fucking come back together? You know, like the giant robot. You know, heat-seeking, find themselves and rebuild. And I thought, that can't work. And of course, that's not how it happens at all. The monster just gets, well, there's a great big blast radius and debris, and his clothes are all fucking ripped and torn, even further than they already were. But he's back there, yeah, still here, folks. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking get you. So of course, but that's the explosion which the crew heard and see at the start, and then of course they find Victor, take him back to the ship, and then the stories have evolved. So, and then the monster's there, you know, because he's telling this story, and then you get the final touching moments. And we're actually here. I don't believe it. We're actually at the, well, we're not. the tent and the dynamite. This is the cue here for the tent and the dynamite. And then you're going to get a cue called forgiveness, which of course is what you expect it to be. They've both told their tales now. And Victor's kind of like, you know, please forgive me. Just forgive me. I'm going to get onto the actual track itself. Please forgive me. And you've had this thing of when a friend and emotion and attachments there, of putting a hand on the head like that, and the monster will put his hand on Victor's head and it does the same. I think it's the same. It's definitely in there somewhere. It's like, I'm sorry, please, can you forgive me, my son, you know, and he says to the monster, you know, my father used my name and I never liked him, you know, I never liked him saying it, it became a curse. For a long time, that's all you would ever say was my name, and I hated it. Just say my name, just one more time. So the monster goes, Victor, I forgive you, Father. Hey, you know what I'm like. And Victor says to him, I gave you life, and if that's all you have, then live your life, live it. And then he dies. and you get this, I forgive you, Father, in all this. And it's played so well. I think I said in a previous video, we all have father-son, father-daughter relationships and issues. You know, I'm no stranger to that. I am the son of my father. I have all his best traits, but I have his worst traits as well. And I have a whole lot of my own. My son probably doesn't like a lot of things that I do or say. I know that anyway. But we get along. He's a different person. My daughter and me, we have a very similar sense of humour, a much greater understanding, I think. But we all have this. And Frankenstein explores that father-son familial relationship in all its tragedies, its celebrations, its woes and tribulations, but its greatness and its faithfulness and its truth, you know, and honour. So it's a fabulous conclusion to a really epic tale. And the monster is allowed to walk off the ship, the icebound ship. Captain Allen's is like, no, leave him. They're all like, ugh. And the monster, it's beautifully shot as well. Now you see him in like the snow glare, sunlight, and all that, and he climbs down the side of the ship, walks off across the ice, stops, thinks about it, and then with his superhuman strength, he pushes the ship out of the ice and frees them. And they're all like, yeah, Captain, well, what are our orders now? And of course, the captain's always had a quest, an obsession, an Ahab-like obsession to get to the North Pole. So Victor Frankenstein had an obsession. The captain has an obsession, and he's seen how obsession doesn't. Your hopes and dreams might be your endless nightmare, and if you had such shit trying to achieve it, maybe it's not worth it in the end. So he thinks, set sail for home. We're going home, lads. You know. So hey, and the monster just turns around and walks off against that horizon. And of course the sun's there. And what's he been told about the sun? He was afraid of it to begin with. The sun gives life, it gives energy, it gives life. So he takes that big epic hood down and stands there and just faces the sun. And the film will end right there. And it's, where would you go afterwards? You can't go anywhere afterwards. That is the perfect conclusion. Obviously, Universal and Hammer went a lot further with the whole thing. And there are a series of books, you can see a couple behind me, which take the original monster further. But for me, the Frankenstein itself, that story, that original Mary Shelley story, being told in a filmic adaptation, you have to end it there. You don't need to go any further. Folks, I love this movie. I think it's a wondrous, rapturous delight. It has a great number of missteps. They're not enough to derail it at all. I said quite, copiously that I don't like the changes that Del Toro made, because Victor and Elizabeth should be together. It's unnecessarily complicated with the whole William is with her, and she's Harlander's, granddaughter, niece, whatever she is, can't remember now. It just adds unnecessary plot details which you didn't need. You could have kept it all very true to the novel, which it is in most aspects. But that was just a complication which you could have done away with, really. And it would have kept the same momentum and the same emotion would have been there. Because the monster, in Kenneth Branagh's version, kills Elizabeth, played by Helena Bonham Carter, rips her heart out, and then demands that Victor makes that body his new mate, which of course Victor does in the Branagh version. Again, Branagh's version is very faithful to the book, but it goes that extra step by bringing the bride to life, who then kills herself, but the rest of it is far more authentic and accurate to Shelley's writing than this version. But this is Del Toro's adaptation, so that it's fine. The effects, apart from the CGI animals, the deer's not too bad, to be honest, but the wolves, they're not so good. The stuff set in the Arctic, I'll be honest, it does look stage bound, but hey, it gives a dreamy aspect to it, and I like that. The set design, the art production, let's have a look. I did write this down. Production designer is Tamara Deverill, who worked on Nightmare Alley with I was going to see Peter Jackson then, with Del Toro, and costumes are by Kate Hawley, who worked on the Crimson Peak, Pacific Rim and the Hobbit trilogy. So costumes are fabulous, they really, really are. I love that gothic look, love it. I like to walk around in a kilt and a vest, showing off what my epic mini-man proportions are, showing off, I've still got biceps and triceps, I've still got some pecs, Well, where's your six-pack? No, I left it at home. I brought out the blubber this time to keep me warm in my vest. But the gothic shirts and the finery, the trappings, the waistcoat, the bloody waistcoats, I love all that. And so set design and costumes, the makeup effects are, okay, there's some CG there, but the prosthetics of the bodies themselves. Another homage is this. That whole thing with the did I say? I might have said before, with the apple thing and the half body playing around with the apple, which he then kills, and it goes it gasps its last, and it and dies. It reminds me of Richard Liberty playing Dr. Frankenstein or Logan in George Romero's Day of the Dead, and he shows off what he strips the zombie bodies down, but leaving the brain intact, and their arms still move. So it's got no heart, no stomach, no liver, no nothing. But he ups his hand to its mouth, and it still goes to bite. It still wants to bite. It's a circus show. It's a Grand Guignol show of flesh and blood. Well, I think that scene early on, the sort of he's going to get done by the academia for his experiments, and he shows this off. And Hollander says, like, no, what? He goes, yes, you proved your point, but you showboating. You could be much better than that. You don't have to do that. Let's do it for real without having to be grand and make your name. Don't do that. This is something because Hollander's got an ulterior motive. I want to live. I want to ditch this body, this syphilitic body. I want a fucking better one. You can do that. But it's all these half bodies. There's another scene where there's another half body, and it suddenly comes to life. And fucking Oscar Isaac's fucking shits himself. I think he's nude in that scene as well, if I'm right. He's just got the bath and he's nude. So you see his buttocks in that. I don't know why I mentioned that. But Isaacs is great, but he's a one-note character. One note. And I think that's unfortunate. He starts off, okay, there's a different person playing him as a younger version. But again, he's emotional about his mother dying, and that's a great sequence. Again, snow and the casket, and he puts the death mask on. You can see her face and on that. Does it to his father as well later on. But that sequence where he runs into that big mansion house that you've seen in Emma and Bridgerton, with that great big painting, and there's two servants there, and he collapses against the chaise lounge, and he goes, "Leave now!" And these two poor fuckers have to go like. But it's a great scene. There's emotion there. Isaacs does play emotion in this movie, but most of it is anger and abject revulsion and desperation to try. Oh no, but I meant this, and I meant no, don't leave me. I love you. He gets fucking slapped. That's a good moment actually, when she slaps him in the face. Fuck off, It's like, and that. But you see his rage again. Oh, I'll fucking teach you, I know. So this is the angriest and nastiest. No, that's a bit of a lie. Peter Cushing played very murderous and nasty, sinister versions of Frankenstein. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I'll be honest, Peter Cushing nailed the nastiest version. But there's lots of three-dimensionality to what he does. Oscar Isaacs, you'd think he would. There'd be more pathos, there'd be more humanity, more conscience racking and morality checks. You think so? But for the vast majority, he's a complete grade A twat, and I suppose that's a new step, but it's in keeping with it, I suppose to a point. I'd like to have seen more nuance, but there you go. Jacob Elordi is just magnificent as the monster. Magnificent. Doesn't put a foot wrong. Eyes convey so much. His physical mannerisms, his learning, and his voice is plaintive, half haltering, half hesitant voice, and that is great when he's learning and forming a bond with the blind man. Just the beauty of all that. And then his rage, it becomes commanding. No, you're going to make me a mace. You're going to do this. And if you don't do it, I'm going to make your fucking life. You think it's miserable now, mate? Oh, just you wait. See, at that point, the monster should kill more people near and dear to Frankenstein. But he's got no one near and dear to. He hasn't got Henry Clerval, who's his best mate, played by Tom Hulce in the Kenneth Branagh version. So you've Del Toro's took out other peripheral characters. See, peripheral. Henry Clerval was quite intrinsic to the original Mary Shelley story. We have the spark of life, sun. The sunlight's coming through now. But overall, this is a great take on it. I've seen online people saying, oh, when it comes out, because it looks like Criterion are going to release it on a Blu-ray 4K, and it'll look and sound majestic. That he may redoctor the CG wolves. Really, in what world do you think that's going to happen? Netflix paid for this. They're not going to pay for like a CGI makeover. They're not going to do that. Simple as that. And as naff as they look, they're all right, you know. The score, as I've done a video on the score, is just to die and to be reborn to. It is beautiful. It's not really a thing of horror. I said before, Frankenstein may have set a horror genre, you know, in motion, but it's not a horror story. It wasn't conceived as such, because horror didn't exist as a genre in books or in movies or theatre. Grand Guignol and mystery did, but not horror as we know it. And yet Mary Shelley created the tropes of horror: mad scientists, laboratories, lightning, dead bodies, stitching bodies together, revenge, you know, a monster. She created it all, so many tropes of the genre, but that wasn't what her design was. It's getting really super bright now, isn't it? Look at this. Damn it all. Maybe it's snow glare. Maybe, really. We're on board an icebound ship. I don't know. I've not half made this last, haven't I? Do you know why? It's bells, and you guys know I hate bells. But sadly, I began to drink it in here a few days ago on these videos, and I'm still drinking it. It's the nastiest whiskey ever. It really is. Cheers, y'all. Right, okay. Let's go through the homages again. Let's do it, because I may have missed some. I didn't write them all down. I think I did anyway. Professor Krem, played by Ralph Ineson from Curse of Frankenstein, from Hammer, played by Robert Urquhart. Professor Bernstein and Harlander are basically... The name I couldn't remember. I did write the fucking thing down. Professor Bernstein, who's alongside Professor Krem in that sort of tribunal of Victor. Professor Bernstein and Harlander are basically Pretorius. There you go. Windmills, which you see a line of windmills during the battlefield, frozen battlefield sequence. That's from James Whale. Lightning is a spark of life. That's again James Whale. Electro gadgets, sparks and stuff, and the little meter scope, the bulbs, red, oh, full power. Kenneth Strickfaden. Bernie Wrightson, the great comic book artist Bernie Wrightson, who did an illustrated version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with lavish illustrations. The comic book adaptation of Kenneth Branagh's take on it, which I have, had covers done by Bernie Wrightson. And his version has flowing long hair and all that, and which the book does. He does grow long hair, and in the book he's an Adonis. He's the body perfect. He's gorgeous to look at, apparently. But his eyes, what Frankenstein was like, his eyes are dead. There's no soul to the eyes. There's a line in this, I'm sure it's in another version, might be in the book as well, where William says to Frankenstein, to his brother, says to him, like, yeah, you made the body. You know, you put that bit to that bit, you put the head on, you put the brain in, but in which part resides the heart or the soul? In which I fucked up the big line there. You know where the heart is? It's in the same place where it should be. But in which part resides the soul? Well, of course, he's like, oh, I don't know. All my jaws, teeth, ankle bone, shoulder, moustache, you know, bollocks. I haven't got the soul anywhere. I've got the arsehole. So Bernie Wrightson, a lot of the design ethic of this and the creatures and the body parts and the body strewn laboratory, that's from Bernie Wrightson. A learned colleague having a fall that damages the brain, Harlander, of course, and that's Professor Bernstein from Curse of Frankenstein. The nappy from Horror of Frankenstein, the long frock coat from Curse and from Branagh's version. The floating leaves, here's one for you. The floating leaves, which he watches go, how he learns how to escape from Frankenstein's watchtower. Remember Frankenstein, Boris Karloff, he meets little Maria, little girl by the lakeside, Lake Geneva it's supposed to be, and she's throwing dandelion, birds. I was going to say birds' petals. Do birds have petals? Oh my God. The petals off a flower, and like he's going like, and Boris Karloff nails this, doesn't he? He starts chucking flowers in and all that, watching them float, and he picks up the little girl and throws her in. It is complete naive innocence. Oh, do you float as well? Let's have a look. And then, and of course she drowns. It's no excuse, Mental health is no excuse for committing murder, Anyway, but it's so horror, it's so tragic. But the floating leaves are definitely taken from Frankenstein, James Whale. Shot in the head, blood spurt, hand clasp from chaos. Head bashed against wall furniture from Frankenstein, the true story. Shooting the Ice, Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Mia Goth in 2 roles, playing the Claire Frankenstein, Frechter's mother, and Elizabeth, like Elsa Lanchester as Mary Shelley and the Bride in Bride of Frankenstein, and De Niro as the sharp featured man and monster in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from Kenneth Branagh. Ozymandias poem by Percy Shelley. The half-body playing with an apple, performing like Frankenstein's zombie experiments in Day of the Dead, Richard Liberty. I am sure there are many more. I'm sure. So there you can play a little Frankenstein homage game. Comment below, let me know what you spotted from other Frankensteinian movie versions and adaptations, comic books and, follow-on books and sorts, But for now, I've given you my delay in getting this review done. Gave you all plenty of time to watch this movie anyway, so whether you agree, disagree, it's up to you. I think the film is great. I will watch it many more times. I know I will. I have my misgivings about certain elements which I don't think were necessary. But maybe Del Toro just went, this is my take on it. This is my version. I like it this way. I don't necessarily agree, but I respect what he's done. You don't do things like, you don't change things on a whim. I don't think you do. So I think he's thought about it, and I've wanted to do it this way. It doesn't improve it, the original story. In fact, I'd say it kind of detracts and makes it a bit more complicated unnecessarily, but it's there. Isaacs is bound to get a nod in awards. I don't think he deserves it. He doesn't change. He doesn't go through enough of an arc. It's all very emotional at the end when he please forgive me and live. I gave you life, and now if you can't die, then live. Brilliant. It's a lovely moment, but you haven't done enough throughout the movie. Whereas the monster goes through a huge arc of naivety and innocence, awakening, and then goes through rage and understanding and friendship and a great learning curve. The Frankenstein story, when done as a movie, is an actor's dream to be the monster. I would say, because you run a huge gamut of stuff there, and you can play the monstrous stuff and have fun flinging people around, ripping hearts out, tearing heads off. You can do all that kind of stuff, But it's the character and the soul, the spirit of the creature is what the actor would relish, I would have thought, and how it evolves and changes. But production design and music, are second to none. I will say some of the carriage journeys across the air, heading to and from the Watchtower, they're very Netflix. They're almost like watercolors, like painted on. In the meadows are too weirdly green. The trees are too weirdly brown. The sky is too weirdly blue. It's all too painterly, but not in a good way, But it is what it is. The majority of the film looks and sounds truly gorgeous, ravishing to look at. It's a film that you just want to dive into. The visuals are just so spectacular. The sets are so enticing, no matter how horrible they may be, strewn with blood and body parts, but I'd still live there. Drafty as fuck, of course, but then again, so is this place. But so I'm used to it. No. Frankenstein, Guillermo Del Toro style, is a wonderful experience. It's a grand Gothic delight. We're having a Gothic renaissance at the moment. You may have noticed Nosferatu, Robert Eggers. Nosferatu is going to carry it on with Werewolf next year, and you've had, oh god, Luc Besson with his take on Dracula, which, by the way, I have seen. I saw it after my last video on that, which was months and months ago, and I was derailing it completely because, well, you know why. And I saw the film and I hated it. I genuinely hated it. I wasn't wrong. It wasn't just it was badly concocted in the first place, but even as its own story, I think it didn't work at all. But it's a grand, visually Gothic splendor. It looks great. Apart from them strange gargoyles, dancing gargoyles. What the hell was that about? But anyway, but Gothic horror is definitely back in vogue again. I wouldn't mind seeing Del Toro tackle something like, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Strange Case of. And I'd love a really... We've had The Wolfman. You know, it's my favourite. I can't help but bring The Wolfman into this. Steve Johnson did it in 2010. And it was, you know, a period set Wolfman tale with great effects. Rick Baker was back. Rick Baker, America Well. He was back, and it was a wonderful movie. Badly flawed again, as I've discussed many times. It actually, narrative-wise, it doesn't fucking work, but it's irrelevant. And it's got loads of stupid bits. But I love the film. But The Wolfman with Lon Chaney, which that's a remake of, we still need a really grandly Gothic Wolfman story. And you're going to maybe get that with Werewolf by Robert Eggers, maybe. But Robert Eggers can confound, and he may not go down the road that you think he's going to go down. Anyway, I think Gothic horror is back. And the sun is really... Look what's happening here, look. An extending whiteout is taking place. It's drawing my shirt in. Maybe the spark of life will give me like a Bride of Frankenstein hairdo. Folks, please comment below and let me know what you think about Del Toro's adaptation. All the performances. I think that Jacob Elordi should be the one that gets... If any awards are thrown at acting for this, it should be Elordi that gets it. Looks Elordi! It's Jacob Elordi! Have we got any more quotes? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh shit, do you know what? I actually had the quote to the final moments. Let's get on the music again. I'm just gonna... I can't believe I'd written down the quote. Dr. Victor Frankenstein, forgive me, my son. And if you have it in your heart, forgive yourself into existence. If death is not to be, then consider this, my son. Keeps on saying son there. While you're alive, what recourse do you have but to live? Live. Say my name. My father gave me that name and it meant nothing. Now I ask you to give it back to me one last time. The way you said it at the beginning, when it meant the world to you. So the creature, Victor, I forgive you. Rest now, Father. Perhaps now we can both be human. Dear. Right, folks. I have been, or we shall be Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and it's ever like, don't meddle with science. Don't play God in between time. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I'm going to see you all. Hang on. See, goes well with the kilt. And if you haven't watched this version, you don't need to now, do you? No, watch it, savour it, enjoy it. Laters.